Alright, finally made it.
Okay, who are you?
The name's Moguera, and I'm here to help you rescue your child.
He told me they were made of sugar.
Well, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I already had help coming.
But I'm already here now.
Okay, listen. After that confrontation you already had with this guy in space, and you not really being able to hold your own against him,
I don't know what you mean.
woo! I decided to get help from someone else.
Sup, ladies? Are we gonna fight yet? You replaced me with him? He tried to kill you once. It's okay, Frosty the Robot Man, we got this. What do you mean by Frosty?
Oh, I get it.
It's okay. I'll just be on my way.
Are you crying? I can't really tell because you're just still standing normally. It's not my fault I have no lower body articulation. I can't even look down.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
You know, I might just be better off freeing myself.
Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Important Views. My name's Steve, and today I'll be going over the Bandai Tamashii Nation SH Monsterarts Moguera. I'm going to be calling him Moguera and not Moguera, because I know in the original film, The Mysterians, which is the original iteration of this character, his name's Moguera because his name doesn't actually have a U in the title. But in his transition to the Heisei series and Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, he acquired a U for reasons because his acronyms are supposed to stand for Mobile Operating Godzilla Expert Robot Ariel-type. None of those words have a U in it, so why? Why? And this guy is from the film Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, which, if you guys haven't seen it, awesome film. Pretty much taken in Godzilla form. Really great. If you guys haven't seen my Space Godzilla review from the same toy line, definitely should go check it out. And the main reason why this guy is in my collection, because over on our other channel, The Geek Chest, we actually put out a video where you guys got to select the next figure I was going to be ordering, and Moguera here won. So if you guys want to keep up to date with us, what's going on with our channel over here, we generally put that stuff over up on the Geek Chest, so you guys should definitely go and subscribe over there, especially if you guys want to participate in some of these selections. But I'm actually really happy to have this guy, because he's one of the only missing Godzilla figures from the SH Monsterarts line that I was missing in my collection. Because as right now, I'm only missing, other than retools and repaints, Gigan and the Garuda accessory for Mechagodzilla 2, which I doubt I'll see anytime soon. So let's get into this guy, because I'm actually really excited to get this guy out of his prison and actually mess around with him a bit. So without further ado, for the packaging, very reminiscent of the Space Godzilla package we saw in that video, where it's got a lot of blues and blacks with a nice shot of Moguera here with some light up eyes there, which I wish this figure had, which sadly doesn't. But it does look really good on the package. You got his name on the bottom here. Came out in 2012, Tamashii Nation Bandai. For the side of the packaging, you get his name in nice metallic shading, SH Monsterarts. And for the top of the packaging, you get his name here in the clear window. Also have SH Monsterarts, his name. Awesome little adorable picture over there at the bottom corner. Other side of the packaging, you just get a nice black and white image of him doing a nice dynamic pose with his missiles out. His name again in metallic writing, Monsterarts in his chest region. And for the back of the packaging, just get him in more dynamic poses. Hey, we just saw that one. And some stuff I can't understand. I know that's the poster down there. And some Lego Mumbo Jumbo. So let's get this guy opened up out of his cardboard prison. Alright, so now that we got Moguera opened up out of his cardboard prison, we're actually going to do this review a little bit backwards, because he comes with a crap ton of accessories that actually change the aesthetics of the mech here. So I'm going to actually go over the figure first, and then we'll move on to the accessories for the later part of the review. So for the starters, we'll go over his head, which looks awesome. Really love the detail work on his head sculpt. Looks amazing. Very reminiscent of what we saw in the film, which I gotta say, Moguera is actually one of my more favorite looking mechs. I don't know why, I just think he's really sweet looking. Like, for the most part, he's probably one of my more favorite mechs from the Godzilla series, with really only the 74 Mechagodzilla really beating this guy for me. Because I actually sadly like this guy more than the Mechagodzilla 2 and Kiryu just by a hedge, because I don't know why. I just really like the gigantic derpiness of this guy really has, and I think it looks really cool. Also really like the drill for his nose here, which is actually made out of die-cast, and also has some articulation there too, which is something that's really sweet. I kind of wish maybe there was a little bit of gimmick to actually get it to spin, but it's not really necessary because it's an adult toy. I don't really need to, it's not like I'm going to be playing with this. Really like how they did the eyes here too, where it's very reminiscent of what you see on like a bike reflector for his eye region here. Looks really awesome. I kind of wish it gave it a little bit more of a shine, but it still looks really good standing on your shelf. It's just been made nice that the lighting for it kind of made it popped a little bit more, but I imagine the only real way to do that is to use a little bit of a brighter paint job. but that would have kind of took away from the overall realism of it. And then for the neck region, looks really nice as well. Really like the metallic blue for the front portion of the neck here, and then his body's primarily this metallic silver paint job with some more blue accents here on the shoulders, on the upper portion of the thighs, on his little crotch region here, and for the front portion of the legs with the treads, and also on the back part of the treads as well, and coming along the back portion of the tail. And then the majority of the rest of this is just going to be this more normal metallic paint here. Really like the detail work here for the housing for his chest mazer cannon. Turned out really nice, and a ton of details on the end section here. Even has more of that orange paint here for the waist portion, just kind of like how they did with the eyes and the top portion here of the head, which looks really awesome. And then for the most of the rest of this, just very Moguera looking, but a lot of very solid details here. The paint job looks really nice. And then for some of the detail work, they have some black paint here for the lower portion of what I'm going to call the vents here. You also get some of it right here on the under portion of the chest, top portion of the shoulder. Same with on the what I'm going to call the cheeks. For his arms, look awesome as well. Very, very rounded, I gotta say, but it does look a lot like what we saw in the film and a lot of the other Moguera action figures I have. The hand accessory that it comes with inside of the packaging does not actually open, so this is going to be for what you want if you want a clean look on your Moguera and you don't actually want this open up for the missile pods, but it does come with the accessory so that it can reveal, which we'll go over in a little bit. The detail work on his legs look awesome as well. Same with the feet, which are also primarily die cast for the lower portion of the foot, except for the plastic portion right here and the little added pieces right here for the front part of the plastic. But the main base of this is actually die cast. And then for his back, you get his trademark ginormous buzzsaw that he just kind of has that one little spine right here, but it looks amazing. Even has a really nice edge to it and looks super sharp. Also very, very pointy. And then for his tail section, you also get more of the buzzsaw patterns here, which essentially is like literally like they just cut a saw in half and you're just ready to go. Kind of wish you kind of use this as an attack thing, but it still looks really good. Also has a vent section here on the middle portion of the beginning of the base of the tail. And then you get his lower tail with his gigantic thrusters in there. Also has a little bit of a red paint job on the inside of the thrusters. So the detail work on this is stupendous. Like, I'm actually really impressed with the way this figure actually looks in terms of detail. And popping this section off real quick, the inside sections here too are also die cast. So in terms of details, this thing is amazing. The one thing that's slightly lacking in though, compared to a lot of the other SH Monsterarts, is articulation. With the head only really being able to look that far to the left and to the right without popping it off, which is a little bit sad, so he doesn't get a whole lot of wiggle room for the head. Could look about that far up, that far down, so not a whole lot going on here with the head movement either. And then for his arms, can actually rotate all the way around. But something I really love about that, with it being a ratchet joint, it kind of gives it a more robotic feel to it, which is something I really love to it. Something you do with a lot of the Transformers nowadays, and I really love the inclusion of that. Also kind of helps it from loosening up anytime soon. The shoulder pad here can wiggle a little bit back and forth. For his shoulders, can also go up and down. Has a bend here at the elbow. Nothing too crazy though, and this part actually comes off pretty easy, but we'll go over that in a second. Can bend up and down. Also, does not appear to, yeah, okay, it's just really stiff. It can rotate all the way around, it appears. And then for his pincers, I'm going to call them, they actually can rotate all the way around because this is literally just an accessory piece. And one thing I forgot to mention is that the paint job here is a very nice metallic navy blue and looks really nice as well. For his waist, can rotate about that far to the left, that far to the right. Has really no tummy crunch, so it's a little bit of rotation. One thing you gotta be careful though when rotating this guy is if you go too far, the lower portion of the buzzsaw will connect with these sections right here. So if you do want this guy in a more sideways pose, I actually recommend popping the tail off back here and sliding the section down a little bit, which is something I think is actually really cool. So when you're looking at it, it doesn't really hinder the overall appearance of the figure, but it also doesn't really hinder with his articulation as well. Which if you do that, you can actually get him to rotate a lot farther to the left and to the right. And essentially here too, if you want to move it, you can move it into 3 different sections, which is pretty much, you have the top portion, which is primarily how you're going to have it. The lowest section gives you pretty much the most freedom for the articulation, and the middle one's just kind of like to be safe. And then for his legs, can go about yay forward, yay back, can move outwards about that far, inwards about that far, so pretty much there's your pendulum motion for you. Then for his feet, can move up about that far, down about that far, has a little bit of a pivot to it, and I believe it can rotate all the way around. Let's double check. Yep. And then the tail section actually pops off real easy on mine. And then for the tail, can move up about yay far, down about that far, and can rotate all the way around. Has no pivot. And then finally you have the top part here, which can go move back and forth. Just be a little careful with, again, coming into contact with the lower portion of the buzzsaw, because you don't want to cause any nicks or remove any paint. So detail is amazing. Articulation's a little lacking, but then again, it's not like Moguera is the most mobile mech we've ever seen in a Godzilla film. So even though the articulation isn't the best, still really works for me. So next we're going to go over some of his accessories, which actually we're going to go over the flight pose, which I'll show you guys how to assemble it real quick, and then we'll go over the details once we get it fully assembled. So for starters, what you're going to want to do is for the head right here, all you're going to want to do is, it's really easy to do too, is you take the head, you just literally pop it off the ball joint here, and then you're going to want to pull off the base of the neck here, which literally just slides straight out, and what you're going to want to do is just pull upward. And it's just literally pops right out there, just kind of held in by two little pegs right there. And next, for the part that actually confused me a wee bit when I was trying to figure this out without looking at the instructions, and then I had to dig those bad boys up. But what you're going to want to do is for the little plates right here on the thighs, you're going to want to actually push in on the top section here. So you just take your thumb, push in on it, and it lifts the bottom section out so you can actually pop it right out of there. Something I think is actually pretty creative, and I'm losing it. Then you do the same for the other section over here. Push the top part in with your thumb, pull out this section, and then you're pretty much good to go. The other thing I would recommend too is to actually pop this guy out and slide it down just a little bit, so that when you attach the buzzsaw onto here, it's not going to be coming into contact with the top portion here. And then you're just going to grab the plate here at the bottom portion of the vent with your nail, and you just literally just pop it right up. And essentially, that's what he should look like when you have everything unconnected that you need to. Okay, so for starters, we'll attach his neck piece, which what we have right here is his lower neck portion here, which what this is going to do is allow Moguera to actually be looking straight ahead. And you just literally, just like what I did, you attach the head to the ball joint here. Really easy to do. Then you take this section, plug it into the top portion of the head right here. That tail pops off way too freaking easy. And next, since we keep dealing with the tail anyways, let's attach the buzzsaw portion of the plates right here. And you just attach that right where we had the vent work here, which is see right here, two pegs, two peg holes right here. Pop it right in there. Really easy to do. And then this kind of gives you the standard Moguera look, which you have the third buzzsaw right here. But the main reason you're not going to want this on is, again, come into contact with this when you want to have them generally standing on your shelf. But in flight form, you can have that shifted a little bit back so it doesn't come into contact with the buzzsaw here. But you can put it in fully attached normally, but then it gets really, really close there. So I just really recommend just sliding it one back so you don't have to worry about that coming into contact with it as much. But it does look really cool. It gives it a nice little differentiating look between the rest of the buzzsaws on the back here. Really love this piece as well. And then finally we'll attach the little wings to the side here. And you just grab your little wing portion right here. Just literally just stick it on right there. Pretty simple. Then you just take the other one, add it to the other side as well. One thing that's really cool too is when you're attaching these, they have a slightly different mold of the other one, so you can't actually push these ones up. You have to just pull them straight out, which I think is kind of a nice little touch to this. And now we have Moguera in his flying form, which overall looks really sweet. Really love the little wings inclusion on the side here. It looks really awesome. Tail again, stop it. Top portion of the head looks really good. Pretty much looking fairly straightforward, just like when you see him flying around the film. Very iconic. Doesn't come with the stand to keep him upright, so that's a little bit of a bummer, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that for pictures. But it's still really sweet that he comes with this, and a really awesome accessory. And also, I forgot to mention, on the bottom of his feet, he actually has some detail work here for his thrusters, which looks freaking amazing. And then next, we're gonna go over his maser cannon that's in the center portion of his chest here. Which, how you're gonna get this detached, because there's literally no way to pull that out with your thumb. Lord knows I tried. Again, actually had to pop up the instructions. Which for the back section here, actually lifts up, which all you do is just you pull it straight out, bend it up a little bit, and it reveals a button right down here. And all you do is you push in on the button, pops out that section for you right there, which I think is really, really sweet. And one thing I love about all these accessories are really easy to put on and assemble. Like nothing's super hard to get on, and you don't have to worry about breaking something off and trying to pull it off or moving paint like you might have happened with this. And I really love the inclusion of these little pieces, and it actually makes it a little bit fun to assemble this stuff. And all you do is when you're going to be putting the mazer cannon in, you're going to want the groove section to be the top portion here, because you can see the little groove right there for it. And you just literally just slide that bad boy in all the way. Pretty much you'll feel it when it stops. Then you just take the back portion, flatten it out, push it right back in, and now you have Moguera with his mazer cannon, which looks amazing. The detail work on this thing is awesome, just like the rest of them. Maybe I'd like to see a little bit more color variation, but I still love the metallic blue on the inside. The metallic silver turned out very nice, and it's, again, something that's awesome that this figure comes with, because it's another very iconic thing for this figure to have. And since he comes with his mazer, he's got to come with a beam effect and a super sweet stand, which I'll actually go over the stand first, which this has the streets on here with the lines, has some dirt, some gravel, some cement. Overall, the detail work on this thing is amazing. And this works as the stand for the mazer beam effect, which what you do is you take one of the 3 stands that it includes, which also I think is really cool that it includes 3 stands because you have 3 effect pieces, even though you're probably not going to have them all displayed together, but it's still really awesome that it includes 3 nonetheless. Then you just take the base of the Tamashii stand, plug it right into the hole in the street here, and you're good to go. And then you take the top portion with your beam effect, the holes right here on the bottom of the beam effect, just attach that to the top section here. That's the first thing that's actually really tight on this. Then you just kind of line it up with the mazer on Moguera here. You just insert it into the hole here on the bottom of the effect piece. And now you have kind of have Moguera shooting his particle beam, which looks really awesome. Really love the variety of colors here you have for the effect piece. Where it's this very nice neon green here, and then it has more of a yellowish at the tip and more of a teal color at the base. Overall looks amazing. Also has some white here at the very base of the beam effect. And overall looks very good and also fairly reminiscent of the Mechagodzilla beam effect that we had. Just slightly different coloring. And here's just to show you guys a full shot of what it's going to look like standing on your shelf. And for his final set of accessories, he comes with an extra pair of hands. But what these hands actually do, are pincers, is you can actually open these up to reveal the spiral grenades on the inside, which I think is, again, really cool. Something Moguera should definitely have, especially if the Trendmaster one had this. Freaking Monsterarts one better have this. But what you do is to attach it to the hands, you just pull off the old ones. They literally just slide off the hands pretty easy. Then you got a pig hole on the bottom of these. Just insert them right back on. Pretty simple to do. And now you have pretty much the little hand accessory piece to swap out. But I do think it's really cool that they gave us an extra set for these, because they could have just gave us these ones originally and left the more clean looking set actually out of this package in general, because it already comes with a ton of accessories. But I really love that they didn't go cheap with this and decided to give us clean ones to go with the more action oriented ones as well. Then once you get these bad boys on, you just open them up to reveal these spiral grenades, which look freaking amazing as well. Even the spiral grenades here have a crap ton of details on them. Look really, really good. Just primarily this metallic silver, which these can also be removed if you want to, which you're also going to have to do this to add to his another accessory, which is pretty much just these shooting out of his hands. So what we're going to do is remove these out of here first without actually popping off the hand. And then next you're going to actually want to take these little pegs off here on the bottom of these. But just be very careful with it, because pretty tiny piece, and also these actually on mine are one of the only things that are actually kind of hard to get off. And these things are also very tiny and are easy to lose, so just make sure you keep these somewhere safe and secure. But then we take these and we're going to set these aside real quick to show off the second base we get, which is some more streets, but we actually get some little buildings here as well, which is, again, something that is a really awesome accessory piece for this thing to have, and it's something very different than a lot of the stands we get with pretty much everybody else. And I really love more diorama set pieces, and I just can't get over how sweet this actually is. Even though the detail work on here isn't quite as good as it is on the Toho Effects buildings, but I can live with it. And then next you're going to want to take your Tamashii Nation stands, insert the lower portion of the stand into the holes right here at the base of the buildings here, which are actually slightly hard to get in there. But once you get them in there, they actually stay in there pretty freaking securely, if I gotta say. And that one's actually still being quite a pain in the butt to get in there. There we go. And then you pretty much get that far forward with the Tamashii stand, and then you can bend it all the way back, which is sweet because he also comes with the smoke effects, which for each of the effects, they have this very nice smoky shade to them with a lot of whites, light grays, and dark, which look really good. They're also pretty long freaking pieces here. And then what you do is you also have this extra one, which has this more flame effect here at the tip, which what this is you actually take the missile portion of this and you insert it over top of the flame effect here, which what this does, it gives it the more engaged look, like it's flying towards Space Godzilla or Godzilla and gonna cause some freaking damage. And then you take the smoke effect, you just literally insert it over top. Also at the bottom portion here too, you have a little extra piece right here missing, which is for this little slotted piece right here, so you know exactly where you gotta line it up. And you just line it up, push it on all the way. And now you have this stupid long accessory piece, and we actually have one more of these we have to assemble, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the other one assembled. On the upper portion of the smoke effect piece is where you're going to have the insert for the Tamashii Nation stand, which I'm going to put these on here real quick. Just insert it on top. Well, I was going to say pretty easy to do, but from what I've noticed, these go on there pretty stiffly, which is something that's a little bit different from Moguera because his accessories actually come off really easy compared to this stuff, which I guess is a godsend and a curse all at the same time. But here's what the smoke effects are going to look like without Moguera attached. And then grabbing our Moguera, after getting Moguera attached to this, looks freaking amazing. Also takes off a lot of shelf space. Like, this is freaking ridiculous. But also ridiculously sweet because I love the overall effect here where you have the giant bloom of smoke at the base of the hand here, and then it's ejecting out, coming towards any kaiju that you want it to be. But I do love the inclusion of this. And if you guys have the shelf space to actually have this displayed like this thing would look amazing on it. And for some quick comparison, here we have Moguera here with some of his other mecha counterparts from the Monsterarts line with Mechagodzilla 2 and Kiryu. And here's with the SH Monsterarts Space Godzilla and Little Godzilla. And here's with some NECA action figures with the Godzilla 1994 and Hong Kong Brawl Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim. And here's some Bandai Japanese vinyls with another Moguera and Space Godzilla. So overall with the SH Monsterarts Moguera, I think this figure is actually really sweet. The details on it are really awesome. The articulation, while being definitely the most lackluster thing about the figure, actually fits the character very well. And he comes with an insane amount of accessories. And for the low price of $70 for this guy, I think it's a steal in terms of SH Monsterarts figure. And definitely one of the best values to come out of that line. So if you guys are really into the Heisei Godzilla series and love the film Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, then you definitely need to add the mobile operating Godzilla expert robot ariel-type to your collection today. But what do you guys think? Do you guys own the SH Monsterarts Moguera? Have you guys seen the Mysterians, or is Robot Godzilla just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. A little closer picture of this guy on Facebook. You want to click the link in the description below. Help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe to become a ranger today, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.